The Duke's Infant and Child Foundation, advocating for children's brighter future.
Shine the light, shine the light, shine the light, and shine the light. Excellent. Let's put our hands together for ourselves. I know it's a Sunday. Some people came from church, but this is another church, true of us. I was spreading the gospel now. It's the gospel that was spreading. Yes. And then thankfully, one of the speakers has said, we must move from awareness to what? So I know that people are hearing, people are listening, and people are assimilating. Good. So my work here is simple. All the speakers have been saying their work is simple. My own too is simple. Nobody's on is hard. Who are you now leaving the hard one for? My work too is simple. I want to remind us of a duty that we have as stakeholders. We have parents here, we have teachers here, we have school owners here. So we have stakeholders, people who are helping to raise the next generation of leaders who will thrive and lead. Now, there's a particular assignment that every single one of us here has. Who wants to hear that assignment? Good. How many of us know that we have a drug problem in our country? How many of us know that? You know very well, you are sure that we have a drug abuse problem among the youth in Nigeria. Let me see your hands up. Okay, let's bring it down home. How many of us know we have a drug problem in Rivers State? In Rivers State, good. A couple of years ago, I was invited by a family to help their son. And so we went to Eleme, where they were living, and we had to go and look for the young boy. And by the time we went around looking for him at all the drug spots, we found where he was, in a drug den there in Eleme. And the things that I saw that day, the things I saw young people doing that day, it blew my mind, and it took me to another level of worry. Young boys, 14, 15, 16, young girls of the same age group, all using drugs inside a place that you never imagine that human beings are living. Inside the bush. It's almost as if there's a new community that was created for people that wanted to use drugs. And that's where we found that boy that day. It will interest you to know that from that time till this day that I'm speaking, that guy has not stopped or been able to stop using drugs. I put a post on my Facebook or whatever it is, and I was saying that drug use, substance use disorder has no cure. Substance use disorder has no cure. Yes, it can be managed, it can be treated, but from the definition of addiction, a chronic relapsing brain disorder characterized by compulsion to continue using drugs or continue in a habit, it shows that it has no cure. And so for every one of us that is here today as stakeholders, it is your responsibility to carry out prevention among the young people who are entrusted in your care. As parents, as teachers, as school owners, aunties, uncles, whatever it is you are, coaches, mentors, the clergy, if you are here, it is your responsibility to ensure that those young children don't get involved with substance use, thereby being able to allow them to thrive and to lead. We have a responsibility. We do have a responsibility, and we must wake up to that responsibility. By the grace of God, I'm a certified licensed and licensed substance use prevention, treatment, and recovery practitioner. I currently run 2 rehabilitation centers and consult in quite a number in the Southeast. It will interest you to know that on many occasions, we don't have space in the rehabilitation homes. Sometimes mothers are crying, please can our children sleep on the floor? Thank God one of my associates is here today. Sometimes they will say, just put him anywhere. Just put him anywhere. Let them lie down on the floor. Put a mat there. Such is the gravity of the issue we are tasked with in ensuring that young people don't continue to use drugs. I also have lived experience of 7 years struggle with drug addiction. 7 years of my life absolutely unaccounted for because I was also a victim of drug use. And sometimes I look back at my life growing up, born in the church, raised in the church, went to some of the best schools in Nigeria and abroad. Yet, I fell into the trap of addiction. Where were the people who were supposed to ensure that I did not make the mistakes that I made? Where were my parents? Did they carry out preventive measures in ensuring that I did not get hooked on drugs? What about my teachers? Didn't they see the signs that this young person is towing a path that will lead him to destruction? And that's why we're here today, to learn what our roles are in ensuring that young people around us don't get into drugs. It's a serious issue. It's a very serious issue. I'll tell you a story. In 2015, I was still neck deep into drug use. I was in Abuja. I had just spoken to my dealer. I'm sure we all know what dealer is. Dealer, everybody, huh? Okay. When Mr. Tom was showing us slangs, some people were wondering what he was saying. And you work with young people, you have to know these things. Huh? Oh, my dealer. Oh, my dealer. So I called my dealer and I said I needed a fix. So he told me to come to a particular hotel, Ibro Hotel in Abuja in Zone 5. And I went there. And then when I went upstairs to the room number he gave me, the door was slightly open. So in the excitement and in my cravings and the urge to use drugs, I pushed the door and I ran inside. And I saw young girls, about 5 or 6 of them, in their school uniform, in low cut. These girls must have been in junior secondary school at the time. So I quickly ran back out of the hotel room. Because I might have been a drug addict, but I was not a pedophile. Yes. So I called him, I said, "Oga, you gave me a wrong room number." He said, "What room number?" And I called it. He said, "Oh, that's the place." I said, "No, that can't be the place. This room has children inside it, and I can't be found inside there." So he came out of the same place. And when he came out, I looked at him and I said, "What are you doing with these young girls?" He said, "Forget about that one. It is his new way of peddling drugs around the city of Abuja. So he has gotten them addicted to drugs. They obviously don't know how or where to get it from. In the daytime, he sends them to make deliveries for him. At the end of the day, he pays them back with drugs, not even with money." True life story. I looked at him, I was shaking. I was an addict at the time. So I had my own problems to deal with. But I saw a higher level of evil. So I said to him, "Well, give me the thing I came here for. You and God can sort out your issues later. Just give me what I came here for." But now, the story here is this. God helped me. In 2 years after that incident, I stopped using drugs. And we set up a foundation that reaches out to people who are neck deep into drug use. We go to the bunks, we go to the trap houses, my wife and I and our entire team. So we went in December of 2018. We went to a bunk. They are called bunks. We went to that bunk. And after we shared what we had, the food, the clothes, everything, and then we asked those that needed rehabilitation to come out. Some people did, some people didn't. We were leaving. And then a young girl ran to me and tapped me, "Excuse me, sir, 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 sir." So I looked back at her. She was so frail. She just had singlets and boxers on. Nothing else. So I looked at her, I said, "Are you okay? Didn't you get enough food? Is there something you want? Is there something we can do for you?" She just kept staring at me. says, Doc, are you okay? She says, you don't remember me. I said, no, I don't. She said, do you remember you came to a hotel many years ago? Immediately she said that, I remember the particular girl she was in that room. At that time, just 3 years, she was plumpy. She looked healthy. And now she looked a shadow of that person. She had lost weight. Maybe she was 1/3 of the size of what she was that time. And she was obviously very sick. I said, what are you doing here? She said, shortly after that encounter, that guy got arrested. And truly, after a while, we couldn't find him. We didn't know where he was. She said that they didn't know where to get the drugs, but they knew that he used to send them to this place to pick it up. So she and one of her friends decided to go there. Unknown to them, you need to pay money for cocaine, which is what they were addicted to. And when they got there, they didn't have money. And the only way they could get the drugs was to sell their bodies. And so they started sleeping around. There were 5. 2 of them went to that place. And that was how she contracted HIV. At that time, she was 15 years old. My knees buckled. I couldn't stand. And then I took off the shirt I was wearing. My wife was standing by me, and I put it around her, and I said, we have to leave this place today. I told my wife, there's no way we are going to leave her here. I left her in that hotel room many years ago. Today, we are going to make sure she leaves this place. I didn't know what to do. We started calling everybody we could call. We reached out to the then DG of NAPTIP. We reached out to churches. We reached out to other organizations. And then we found a temporary home for her. Moved her to Jos, where we paid for her rehabilitation. Put her back in school. She wrote her exams, and then she got sponsors that helped her to go to Wales, where she went to study, where she currently is. Now we thank God for that, but we didn't have to get to that point. The HIV cannot go. She's going to live with it for the rest of her lives. However, in the period where that evil man was using them as drug mules, she was still going to school. What happened to the educators who should have noticed that something is wrong with these young people? What happened to the teachers in the classrooms that did not understand the telltale signs that these girls were crying for help? Sometimes they will not come out and verbally tell you there's a problem. Sometimes they might not talk. They might use their eyes. They are reaching out to you. They are asking for help. You must understand the non-verbal cues of the young children that are under your tutelage. So we have an assignment. We have an assignment. The prevalence of drug use in Nigeria currently is almost 45 million youths who have used drugs in the past year. We have to pay attention to this menace. Some people may have seen me before the program started. I was downstairs with somebody and a family. That's my classmate from Covenant University. Classmates from Covenant University. Has been on the streets for years because of drug use. Has been on the streets. And now we're trying to get him into rehabilitation to start his life again. I lost one, a friend from the same Covenant University, due to drug overdose. He died a cold, lonely, and painful death. Only son of his father. Father, pastor, mother, elder. Died in a hotel room. Drug overdose. So for anybody who is still under any illusion that we don't have a problem, you need to wake up. Or you leave this space. You leave this space. I said in one of the states that we went to, thankfully we all agree that as parents, it is our statutory responsibility to prevent drug use among our children. As teachers and educators, you are the next line of defense. When parents miss it, then it is your duty to see it. We have a problem, but you are part of the solution. Say with me, I'm part of the solution. Say it like you mean it, I'm part of the solution. One of every 4 drug users is a female. For those of us that think it is a male-dominated issue, 1 of every 4 drug users is now a female. And as a matter of fact, we believe strongly that this statistics is wrong. It's wrong. I was reading in Uyo, and the statistics were clear that the ladies have taken over. Yes, unfortunately so. Unfortunately so. You come to our facility, he's there. We have mothers of children who are in rehabilitation. We have young girls, 14, 15, 16, who are struggling with addiction and need help. Drugs are cheap, accessible, and often disguised as stress relief. Cultural silence and shame prevent early intervention. Many parents don't know their children are using drugs until they are already addicted, at a point where there is almost no solution. We have a relapse rate in this country of almost 86%. You know what that means? Almost 9 of 10 people that go to rehab will go back to their vomit. So only 1 out of 10 people remain clean. So we must not allow it get to that point. Because really there's no solution but for the mercies of God. Yes, none. I was in a conference and I was sitting with professors and everything, and I said to them, there is no cure for addiction. And they say, young man, I said, okay, show me, who have you cured? You with your professorate degree, show me. And if you are so sure that there's a cure, I will give you cocaine to take. Get addicted and cure yourself. If you know there's a cure, you have the cure for it. I'll give you cocaine to take. When you are addicted, treat yourself. And one by one, they started turning back. Because they know the truth. That truly, it really has no cure. I'm in the field, sir. I'm in the field. All that happens is recycling of clients from one rehab to another. We need to wake up. We need to wake up. We need to embrace prevention. No matter how tiring it is, we need to embrace prevention. We need to invest in prevention. If there's ever a time, the saying, prevention is cheaper and better than cure, it's in the case of drug abuse. It is. It is. It is. Had a friend in the time when I was using drugs. He came back from university, Aston University in Birmingham. We used to sleep on the same mats in the bunk. They used to call us dumb boys because I just come back from UK as well. For a master's degree I was supposed to get that I did not get because of drug use. That guy one day went to steal. If I mention his son name, everybody in this hall knows his father. He went to steal, got caught, got beaten to a pulp and burned to death. Only son of his father. Most parents don't know their children are addicted to drugs before until it gets too late. So drug abuse is no longer a street problem. We talk about community parenting, but the community has become what? Too busy, distracted. The community has become distracted. Yet you forget that the same person you are sending your child to buy something from on the street corner is using his shop as a mask to sell drugs. Story of a 16-year-old girl in Enugu State who was missing. The mother was crying. Mr. David, help us. Mr. David, help us. Where's my daughter? My daughter is missing. She was supposed to be writing WAEC. They've not seen her for 3 days. By the time we went to look for her and we found her in one of the bunks. Now this bunk is in a marketplace. Each of the stalls has a false door. So the way you see this now, they display their products. This can be a shelf. By the time you open it, behind it, they are using drugs. We need to be aware of some of these things. By the time we found that girl, she was nearly gone. She was nearly gone. We can go on and on and on about the stories of drug use and how it has destroyed homes, destroyed families, torn marriages apart. Yes, Because when a child is addicted, it's the family that is suffering, true or false? There's an adage that says, it's the family of a madman that suffers it the most. So are you a parent? Are you a teacher? A team's coach? School owner? Whatever level you're in, among the stakeholders gathered here, you have a responsibility to prevent drug use. Say with me, I have a responsibility to prevent drug use. Very quickly, let's take some definition of terms. As stakeholders, we should know. What is a drug? A drug is a substance. This is according to the World Health Organization. A substance which could be legal or illegal. When taken into the body, it affects the central nervous system. It acts on the brain and the spinal cord. Now listen, it alters the way a person thinks, the way a person feels, the way a person behaves. Anything you consume that changes the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you behave is a what? It's a drug. So is alcohol a drug? All those who say it is, say aye. If you say it's not, say nay. Good, the ayes have it. What is drug abuse? Drug abuse is the use of any illegal drug or the misuse of any legal drug. Before we go forward, let's take examples of illegal drugs in our community. Yes, anybody from where you're seated? Marijuana, cocaine, ice. What is the real name for ice? Crystal meth, thank you. Yes, this way. Sorry? Cannabis, yes. Tramadol, yes. Cocaine, yes. Good. Do we all know what these drugs look like? Or we just know the names? One day a woman called me and she was crying. I don't know, women are always crying. Let's clap for women. So she was crying and I said, what's the problem? She said her son is behaving somehow, that she doesn't understand the way he's behaving. I said, are you sure he's not using drugs? She said, no, she's not using drugs. But she was in his room one day and she saw a lot of thyme. You know thyme for cooking? So she saw a lot of thyme. So immediately she said it. I said, oh. I said, did you check whether there's curry and Maggi? Maybe he wants to cook. Because the moment she said it, I knew it was marijuana. But she was so oblivious to what marijuana looked like that she thought it was. So very quickly we'll show you, hello, Mr. Recorder. We'll show you some of, come and hold it, some of the most common drugs that are used in our society today. Hello? It's very good that we know. Can we see from where we're seated? Is it possible to, okay, yeah, can the camera zoom in? No, it's not cannabis. What is this? No, it's not marijuana. Marijuana leaves are wider than this. What is this? Igbo is marijuana. So it's a strain of marijuana called Canadian Loud. Let me hear you say Canadian Loud. Canadian Loud. The way this uncle is laughing, okay? The way you are laughing saying that Canadian Loud. I hope all is well. Okay, what is this? What is this? No, it's not tramadol. What is this? No, it's not codeine. What is this? What is this? Vitamin C. Let's clap for Mr. Tom. What is this? No, it's not tramadol. What is this? Everybody say Molly. Say Molly. So when a person ingests this or just puts it on his or her tongue, you experience a heightened sense of euphoria. So it's called a party drug. The primary component is MDMA. It's also known as ecstasy. So you experience a heightened sense of euphoria. You just become very happy and very excited. Thank you. What do we have next? What's that? Okay. Yes, what is this? I need the camera. Yes, what is this? Thank you very much, sir. Yes, so this is ice. Crystal methamphetamine. What did I say? Crystal methamphetamine. Look at it. It actually looks like little pieces of ice. So you see, yeah, so this one, no, you don't sniff it. I'll show you how to use it. So this one, It's about 7,000, am I correct? This 7,000 naira, yes, only. But it finishes in like 30 seconds, so you need more again. Crystal Met. Crystal Met. Look at it. Ice. Okay. What do we have? How many of us know what this is? No, it's not tramadol. How many of us know what this is? This man. You follow me to Enugu today. We have space for you. How many of us know what this is? Say with me, Refnol. The date rape drug, that's what it is. So you know what happens with this? If you lick this particular pill now, you're going to forget everything that Madam Uche has said. You forget everything Madam Augusta said. You forget the last 1 or 2 hours of your life and the next 3 or 4 hours. It's going to be totally erased. That's why it's called the date rape drug. Because what young people do is they put it in the drinks of young ladies so that they can have their way with them and they wouldn't know what happened. It will totally erase your memory of anything that has happened. What do we have next? Colus. No, not this one. There's another one. Give me the bottle. What is this? Some people have been saying codeine. Codeine is banned now by the government of the country, but people still use codeine. A woman came to our facility and said the son had 2 Ghana Moscows of empty bottles of codeine in his room. 2 Ghana Moscows of empty bottles of codeine in his room. So that's what it is. How many of us know what this is? Biro, pen. Yes, and I'm presenting this to Madam Uche for getting it correct. How many of us know what this is? So that's a vape. Uncle, don't answer any question again. It's a vape. It's a pen vape. So you see that these things are already now designed in ways that are attractive to young people, yet the older people don't even know what it is. So this is a vape now, and then it can also be used to consume hard drugs. And then somebody can just hang it. A student can hang it and come into class and you think it's a pen. And right in your presence, whenever he needs a fix, he will go to the toilet and just take it. And then it has flavor, tangerine, strawberry, apple, citrus. So you can't even smell anything that you don't want to smell. Are we seeing? Okay. How many of us know what this is? Sir, crusher, this is a crusher. So when you see this around young people in your area, yes, it's used in crushing wheat. You see these Port-a-Cots, they are very, very surgy. Where was it I went to? In my state, Enugu, somebody says edge control. It looks like edge control. It's a crusher. So they put the weed inside it, then they cover it and they crush it so that it can be smooth for consumption. Is that all right? So what is this pill or this capsule? Tramadol. Yes, that's tramadol. The tramadol we've been saying. Tramadol. A lot of people, especially young people now, who had a case just 2 days ago, use this for to boost their sexual prowess. Unknown to them, it's a highly addictive substance. There's a woman that came in for treatment. She had breast cancer and went to Qatar for treatment, and she was given tramadol genuinely to help with the pain, but then she got addicted to it. Strong, serious addiction at the age of almost 60. So it's a very powerful sedative, yet very, very addictive. Very, very addictive. Some people were asking how they use crystal meth. So this is what we use. You connect it to a bottle. Yes, you put, so for instance, you connect it to this bottle, you burn a part of this, you put this inside, you open this cover, you put that crystal meth on it, on foil paper, you light it from the top and you suck it from inside here. How many of us know what this is? How many of us know what this is? Bottle. That's what my mother taught for 7 years. How many of us know what this is? Touch it. How many of us know what this is? No, it's not for sniffing. No, it's not cocaine. So it's a crack pipe. Crack cocaine pipe. This is used in smoking crack. And then as little as this bottle is, as little as this paraphernalia is, millions of naira will pass through it comfortably in 10 or 15 minutes. Comfortably. It's a crack pipe. I was telling them of a story of someone in Abuja that sold his parents' house with the grandmother inside to smoke crack. Just in something as little as this. Consume millions of naira. Somebody was supposed to travel to Canada, and he had his proof of funds in his account, about 18 million naira. He spent it in less than a month on crack cocaine. And that's the drug I was addicted to for 7 years. You know, and that's a very addictive, powerful, elusive, expensive drug to get addicted to. And how many of us know what this is? How many of us know what this is? Sorry? Somebody said they're fresh now. So it is a drug test kit. Drug test kit. As stakeholders, as parents, educators, you need to have this. It's very easy. You suspect a child around you is using drugs. In 3 minutes, you can have the results. Test for alcohol, cigarettes, marijuana, tramadol, tetrahydrocannabinol, everything. So this particular one can test for 12 different drugs at the same time. And it's like the pregnancy test kit. You just put it into urine. You put these parts into urine for about 3 minutes, and then it will show you the result. Whatever the person has been smoking, you're going to find out almost immediately. Is that all? Is that all we have? Okay. How many of us know what this is? If you talk. How many of us know what this is? I know that Port Harcourt people will know this one. It's Rizla. So it's used in wrapping the marijuana before they smoke it. So these are things that if you see around, you should know that there is a problem. Let's put our hands together for ourselves. So let's go very quickly because my time is fast spent. So let's talk about some of the reasons why young people use drugs. As stakeholders, it's also important that we know why exactly do young people use drugs. Sometimes we have cases ranges from, sometimes they just want to feel different, sometimes they want to relax, sometimes for fun, sometimes it's rebellion. Of course, there's peer pressure, they want to be accepted by peers, and then we have dysfunctional homes, or a lack of proper education on the effects of drug abuse. That is why as we're training you today, we're going to go to the effects. It's your duty to go back and train others. As Madam Augusta has said, may it not be found or may it not be heard that after this summit, there was a case of drug use in a locality where you are domiciled. Then you'll have wasted everybody's time. God forbid. And then, of course, I always like to talk about the risk factors. Risk factors. So, risk factors are those factors outside the control of young people that make them susceptible to using drugs. So that means that if they are found in any of these risk factors, there is a possibility that at some point they will use drugs. When there is family neglect, you have a child in your school and then you know that he's neglected by the family. There was somebody who was telling me in Enugu State that the child came to school and the undies that he soiled a day before was the same one he wore to school the next day. So there's family neglect in cases like that, and you need to pay attention to such children. And then, of course, if there's abuse, it's very possible that those children we get into use of substances. Lack of involvement, abusive parenting, and chaotic environments. Children who grow up in such environments are susceptible to using drugs at one point or in time of their lives. Poor attachment to school and the community. You have children in your classrooms who just don't feel attached. They don't want to be in school. They're always running away from school and things like that. It is a red flag you need to pay attention to. Growing up in marginalized and deprived communities. I'm sure that we here in Port Harcourt, we know that there are some particular places that children that grow up in those places are susceptible to using drugs. True or false? So when you have children from those kind of areas, pay more attention to them. Give them more attention, thereby preventing them from eventually using substances. Family history of substance use. When you find children who in their families, they use drugs, it's allowed, it's okay. Those children are at risk of using drugs. That's closely related to it is favorable parenting attitudes towards the behavior, poor parenting and monitoring, parental substance use, association with delinquent or substance using peers. We need to pay attention to these signs. Also, a risk factor that is not mentioned here is mental health illnesses. How many of us believe that children can struggle with mental health illnesses? Let me see your hands up. With depression, with anxiety, etc. So when you find out that a child that is under you is struggling with a mental health illness, it's important that you pay attention to that child because that child is at risk of using substances. Another risk factor that is not here is to cure or to treat physical pain. Physical pain. One of the biggest struggles we have in this field of addiction is pentazocine addiction. How many of us have heard of pentazocine? Pentazocine. So pentazocine is a drug that is used in treating sickle cell, right? So people that struggle with sickle cell use pentazocine. But now, pentazocine is addictive. So it's a dilemma. We had a case of a young girl in Jos, about 14 years old, who is a sickle cell patient. And then she's addicted to pentazocine. It's an injection. They sell it in ampules. Now, because of her age, she doesn't have access to money. When the addiction to the drug comes, she goes to sleep with the pharmacist that is selling it so that he can give her pentazocine in return. We had the case of a young guy who was about 16 who lost his life to struggle to sickle cell. And by the time we were preparing for the burial and everything, we found out that he was injecting his penis with pentazocine that he was addicted to. So that's a problem. So when you find out that you have young people around you who struggle with severe physical pain and they are in need of medication to handle that physical pain, please pay attention to those young ones. Let's go. Now, what are the effects? For me, the first effect of drug abuse is death. What did I say? There was a case of a young woman who called me. Her child was using drugs, 13-year-old boy. I wasn't in town at that time. By the time I got back in 2 weeks, I called her to ask about the boy. She said the boy died yesterday. 13-year-old boy. And this is one out of many of people who have died of drug overdoses. So there's an increase in the rate of drug overdoses, deaths by drug overdoses. So that's the first effect. The second effect will be brain damage. Brain damage, especially to those under 25. I have said in all the other places that the part of the brain in the teenagers is not fully formed, called the frontal cortex. So a part of the brain that is not fully formed, and you are now using drugs on top of it, it is a recipe for disaster. Of course, there's organ failure, poor growth and immunity, risk of overdose, and death. We're rounding up in 5 minutes. We have depression and anxiety, psychosis and paranoia, loss of self-control, and suicidal thoughts. And then, of course, academic failure, family breakdown, crime and violence, loss of values and purpose. Now, how do we detect drug abuse? It's important that we know the early signs. It's important that we know the early signs. Behavioral signs include sudden secrecy, aggression or withdrawal, loss of interest in school or faith, new peer group with questionable behavior. behavior, mood swings, irritability, depression, emotional numbness. And then we of course will have red eyes, smell of substances. That's why it's important that we know what these substances are and how they even smell. I didn't say you should go and smoke it to know the smell. Poor hygiene, tremors and slurred speech. Then declining performance, truancy, loss of discipline, disrespect for authority. We have some case studies, but my time is gone. If not, I'll have shown you the before and after, including videos, but we'll go out. Now, what is the way out and what is your responsibility? Let me hear you say prevention. Say it like you mean it, prevention. The primary objective of drug abuse prevention is to help teenagers or young people to avoid delay or the initiation of the use of drugs. If they have started already, it's to avoid developing disorders, e.g. dependence. So your role as educators, as stakeholders in this summit is to avoid young people getting into drug use. And if they have started, because we're not under any illusion that the people under you are not using, delay it or stop it from graduating into dependence. So for parents, build emotional connection, not fear. Talk early and honestly about drugs. Have the conversation. Don't keep it aside. Have the conversation. Model healthy coping skills. Monitor peer influence. Set boundaries with love. Pray, but pay attention. Let me hear you say pray, but pay attention. It's not enough to only pray. If I had the time, I'll have shared my story with you. My mother was a prayer warrior, or rather is a prayer warrior. But as you know, it wasn't enough to stop me from going into drugs. For teachers and educators here, integrate drug abuse education into the curriculum. Train teachers to identify the early signs, part of which we have told you today. Create safe reporting systems. Not that when a child comes to report to you that someone is using drugs, you now use him to do example in class the next day. So it's not a safe reporting system. Address bullying and academic pressure. Partner with professionals. For religious leaders, preach compassion, not condemnation. Address substance use from the pulpit. Provide counseling and referral systems. Create youth mentorship structures. Replace shame with restoration. Now, this is a Train the Trainer Summit. Your role is to take this knowledge back to your homes, train teachers, parents, and leaders, create prevention networks. Very important. Create prevention networks. Speak up early and act boldly. Now, let me hear you say after me, when you see something, say something. Operation Clamp Down the suppliers and put a policy pronouncement against use and sale. Thank you very much. God bless us all.
The Duke's Infant and Child Foundation, advocating for children's brighter future.